Welcome to Realistic Fishing. Okay, I am Retro Bassin, but you are in the right place. You are watching Realistic Fishing. Today we're going to keep it realistic and definitely fish it old school.
Welcome back to Realistic Fishing. I got a package here from Retro Bassin. If you're not familiar with him, he has his own YouTube channel. Talks a lot about classic bass fishing and retro fishing lures. Let's open this box and see what's inside. We got an envelope here. And inside we got some Retro Bassin stickers and a bunch of lures. Snag Proof Frogs. Snag Proof Big Bass. Look at this one. It's like a big cricket or some kind of nymph. Boss Rat. This is awesome. Got a couple of Mr. Twister frogs in there as well. Black Snag Proof Frog. Even got a Retro Bassin Fish It Old School hat. Alright, I'm changing my hat out for this one right now. Here's a couple more Snag Proof lures. Some old ones. That one looks very, very strange. Power Pack Spring Activated Surface Lure. These Snag Proof lures bring back memories. Old tackle boxes I had when I was a kid. Always had Snag Proof lures in them. I don't remember this one, but I definitely remember the mouse and the frog. And I'm gonna tie this on right now and we're gonna fish it until we catch something. I've always had these in my tackle boxes. The hooks were always rusty. It looked like it's been in there for 10 years, and it might have been, but I never caught anything on it. But that's gonna change. We're gonna tie on the Snag Proof Frog, and we're gonna see what Retro Bassin has to say about it.
The other day, Realistic and I were talking about soft plastic frogs, and of particular interest to me, old school soft plastic frogs. Alex mentioned a hollow-bodied snag-proof frog that he was searching for, and because I tear through old school baits like Hulk Hogan tears through t-shirts, I happen to have a few on hand. Right now, I'm working on a little care pack to send to Realistic Fishing, but first, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of that topwater toad.
What's up, everybody? Fatboy Dan here from Fatboy Dan's Great Outdoors. Y'all already know you're watching Realistic Fishing. And just remember to always keep it realistic.
Cool. Can we get our first bass on a Snag Proof Frog? Let's tie it on and find out. We're gonna tie this on as we walk into the woods. We're gonna fish that on the $30 bait caster. Let me make sure my drag is nice and tight so I can get a good hook set. Can we get one on the Snag Proof Frog? Typically you would fish it around lily pads and weeds, but I'm gonna fish it near these stumps and down trees. It's made of a somewhat stiff rubber, and it didn't have a ton of hook gap, so we're gonna see how it does. I will be very happy to catch my first fish on a Snag Proof.
Long before you needed a 7-foot 9-inch heavy action rod, 50-pound braid, and a hook that could rip the lips off a manatee, Anglers were casting topwater toads on tackle that would seem wimpy by today's standards. No doubt frog imitations have been around as long as man has fashioned artificial lures for bass, but some of the first production models came in the early 1900s, with lures like the James Hastings weedless frog, the Pfluger Conrad frog, and the Shakespeare weedless casting frog. It wasn't until after World War II and the introduction of new plastics that more modern-looking topwater frogs were hopping their way into anglers' tackle boxes across the country. In 1957, Bill Plummer's daughter went to the dentist, and as a prize for good behavior, she came home with a toy rubber frog. Her father, seeing the toy's promise as a fishing lure, promptly added a weedless hook and took the bait to a local river where the frog actually caught fish. Bill would eventually patent the weedless hook for use in his bait and license the Bill Plummer Super Frog to the Harrison Hogue industry. Here is an original Bill Plummer Super Frog, and yeah, you can probably see the toy origins of this bait. This is a unique frog for a couple reasons. First off, notice the hook orientation. It actually points downward, unlike most frog hooks today, which point upward. And you can see Bill's patented weed guard in full effect. This is actually a neat bait to fish and has more of a diving action than a straight up topwater action.
Merry Christmas to you. Ho, 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 ho. And keep it realistic.
So far, nothing. I don't remember this being an easy lure to catch fish on. Like I said, I don't think I've ever caught anything on it.
Around the same time, Harry Ellers had his own ideas for a soft plastic fishing frog, but instead opted for a hollow body, unlike Bill Plummer's solid body. A rain boot maker for the Toads Company, Ellers utilized the new supple and durable soft plastic from his factory for his new hollow-bodied frog. He would eventually sell the frog and dozens of other hollow-bodied creations under the Snag Proof name. This is the lure that originally got realistic and eye-talking, a Snag Proof hollow-bodied frog, and now that I know that this was first fashioned from rain boot material, it actually kind of makes sense. This thing definitely seems a little bit antiquated by today's frog standards, but at one time, this was one of the most innovative frogs on the market.
Still working it.
Just about everybody and their uncle got in on the frog craze, and the following years brought some really unique spins on that soft-bodied frog. The bass professor Doug Hannon had his own contribution to the frog craze, the Hannon's Frog, available from Burke Lures. Here is a Doug Hannon frog from my personal collection, and yes, that thing definitely has a couple of beastly hooks on it and a very realistic pattern to boot. Even Bill Dance got in on the frog in action with the Strike King grass frog. Here is an OG grass frog, and this is actually the first lure I ever caught a largemouth bass on, so this one definitely has a very special place in my heart. Well, with that, I'm going to tape up this little care pack, get it in the mail to Tennessee, and hand it over to Realistic Fishing.
Nothing. Nothing on the frog. Is it too big? Is it too intimidating? Does it not have enough action? Maybe it's the wrong time of year. Let's try one of those other designs. Here we go. Original Snag Proof Mini Minnow. Let's get this tied on and see if we can get a bite. I remember having one of these when I was little. It had a more of an orange color to it, but this is it. It has a soft lip, so it doesn't really swim like a crankbait or a jerkbait, but we're gonna try it out. Hopefully we can get a bite on this one. I'm having flashbacks back to when I was a kid. Not catching anything on the Snag Proof. Well, I skunked out on my first attempt to catch something on the Snag Proof lures. Oh well, at least I got a cool hat to wear for my walk of shame.
This is Addison, and we caught a fish. Keep it realistic.
Well, we're out here for day 2 of the Snag Proof Challenge. Can I finally catch a bass on a Snag Proof lure? They were sent into the show by Retro Bassin, which reminds me I need to change my hat real quick. There we go, that's more like it. Now let's see if we can get a fish on the Snag Proof. Ooh, I think I had a little swirl there. I think I had a swirl there, but I'm caught on this fucking branch. Something splashed way out there. Well, so far I can't get anything down here by the point. I had the one swirl. I saw something swirl at it. Then I got caught on a branch. That's the closest I've come so far to catching something. Is that a fish? Holy cow! Holy cow! Yes! Holy cow! There it is. There it is. My first bass on the Snag Proof. I'm lightheaded from the excitement. I need a second to catch my breath. That is so awesome. This bass goes out to Retro Bassin. Thanks for sending the Snag Proof lures over. It took me 2 days to finally catch something. I tried the frog yesterday. I tried the minnow yesterday. And finally, today on the minnow, I got a bass. Let's get a quick picture with this one.
This is Retro from Retro Bassin, but you're watching Realistic Fishing. Keep it realistic.
Yes, my first bass on a Snag Proof lure. Thanks again, like I said, to Retro Bassin. Awesome box of retro lures. And I got my first bass right here on the Snag Proof minnow. Man, it feels good. And now we're gonna let him go. I can't thank him enough. Retro Bassin, thanks for sending the lures. Thanks for all the great information. I finally made it happen. Childhood obstacle conquered today. I caught a fish on the Snag Proof lure. Thanks for watching Realistic Fishing. Keep it realistic.